It's time to take a look at possibly one of the only two victors of the OGL wars from January. And that's my people's champion, my Chad Gable, Level Up 5E. The Level Up 5E beginner's box set is now out. The Kickstarter is live. You can get the digital rule set for £15. I don't know what that means in American, but yeah, £15 if you go to the Kickstarter. And we have a preview of what we can expect in the box, including a close-up of the character record sheet. Now, reading the character record sheet, it's a little more complicated than I expected, but maybe it's just because that's the way they chose to present it, and in the game it's not actually as crunchy as this. Now, Level Up 5e actually predates the OGL Manic Panic, as it was originally released around the same time that Tasha's was released. So early 2021, late 2020, it was one of the few that decided to compete with Wizards of the Coast D&D after they introduced the changes that were going to become available through Tasha's, like changing race to ancestry. It was also about the same time that Paizo released coffee Pathfinder 2nd edition, again because of the changes that are being implemented to D&D through Tasha's, like changing legacy and changing races and stuff like that. And everybody else wanted to be as politically correct as Wizards of the Coast. Now we know with Paizo's Pathfinder 2nd edition how much they got lambasted, but these guys, they just put their thing out and they kept making product, and somehow they have avoided the negative attention train that has gone after Paizo and Wizards and stuff like that. So what do we get in this starter box set? We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pre-generated characters. We get an adventure. We get little figures. We get a map. We get the book. Lots of cool stuff. Postable map, cardboard tokens, adventure paths, a softcover rule book. So yeah, for $30 or whatever this is going to be, if you thought you were actually going to play this game, I would highly recommend picking this up for the Kickstarter. Kickstarter is live. If we go here to the Kickstarter, we can see that the Level Up 5e starter digital box is $15, and that just gets you the Level Up 5e starter box digital and the Level Up 5e starter box VTT asset box for £15. For £30, you would get the Level Up 5e starter box, which is pretty reasonable considering everything that comes with it. That's about $38. Because for all this, for $40, that's pretty cool. So I might pick it up. I mean, I may never use it, but it'd be nice to have. And for $30, it seems worth it. So we have a close-up of one of the characters here. Let's see. So we have a Connie, 4th level human adept. So we can see the differences. And they are a brawler. So I guess that's something like a monk, I guess, or an open-handed fighter. Their culture is dragon cult as opposed to race or species. And then we have, the usual stuff: strength, dex, con, proficiency bonuses, skill bonuses. And instead of adding your stat modifier to skills, you added a dice roll. Like acrobatics, they get a plus 1d4, and for jumping, they get a plus 1d4. So is that stat bonus plus? Because, athletics would be your strength bonus plus 3. And then they also add an additional 1d4 when they're making it to see if they succeed or fail. Maybe. I don't know. Is anybody familiar with this? What weapons they can use, blah, blah, blah. Hit points. We know how that works. Hit dice. We know how that works. Speed. Then these are all the special abilities. This is where things get a little bit overcomplicated for my taste. The character record sheet is at least 3 pages. Of course, a huge chunk of this character record sheet is dominated by this art. So we've got its background and the abilities that come with the background. We've got his destiny, they gain something called inspiration when he performs acts of devotion or sacrifices. So, and then when they do those, they get he gets a little bonus. Looks like extra healing and stuff like that. Then we have the combat abilities, short sword martial arts, combat maneuvers, charge, perceptive stance, rapid drink. I don't really need that to be listed as an ability, especially if that's an actual class ability. I mean, just a Kenny drinks a potion or administers a potion to a creature within reach. That's just a free action. Don't need a specific mechanic for that. We just all understand that, right? Flurry of blows. So parries only. They are a monk fighter. Then you have something called long step. And then we have something called, basically they can take a dodge. So it looks like they're sort of a fighter monk. Battle meditation, battle defense, desperate dash, draconic umbra, and all these little different powers that they can use. And then we have these extra powers they can use while they're out of combat. So, like bonuses to searching for food, bonuses to walking, bonuses to training. So it appears to be overly complicated and very crunchy. These could all probably be simplified, or I don't know. Feels a little bit too much for me. Feels very fourth edition as opposed to 5. The progression for converting 5e to 5e 5.5 should be ways to make 5e simpler to understand. I mean, we could ignore the whole power creep because we know that's just ingrained into 5e, and we just have to accept that that's part of 5e. So if you want to make a 5e Heartbreaker, you got to make it less chunky than 5e, because what's the number one complaint about 5e? It's too hard. It's too complicated. The combat system is too chunky. If there are any complaints about 5e other than it's not D&D, that's pretty much the number one. So you would hope that Level Up 5e would have been simpler, but it looks like it's way more chunky. It looks like it's trying to sort of combine 4E's mechanics with 5E's mechanics and give us a slightly simpler version of 4E. Now, 4E was great for what it was. I love 4E. It's not D&D. It's the Eberron role-playing game. But that said, there's a lot of stuff in 4E I really liked, including the at-will stuff. So I guess I'd have to see it in play to really see, but right now, just on paper, it feels a little too complicated for me. No, again, it feels just like a huge waste of character record sheet. But obviously, that's because most of this character record sheet is dominated by this unnecessary picture. So, yeah. So that's out there, $30 to pick it up. We have now a good look of how the mechanics works in Level Up 5e. If you're curious about it, you can check out the Kickstarter. $30 seems pretty reasonable for me to pick up a box and get, if nothing else, a free map. Maps are always good. So, yeah. Are you still curious about this? I am. I mean, I'm curious to see who's going to come out of the OGL wars with the most to gain besides these guys. I guess that if you erase these guys, the two competitors right now would be Matt Colville and Daggerheart. Which one of them is going to come out with their fantasy Heartbreaker first, and which one of them is going to be able to provide the competition to D&D 2024. Somebody needs to step up. Somebody needs to provide them competition. Hopefully. But we'll see. Anyways, that's it. Moving on to our next topic. If you appreciate hearing me talk about the OGL wars, let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about the OGL wars ever again on Fridays, let me know. Till next time, stay safe out there. It's raining. And get off my land, you damn kids.